Alright, yeah, my car's under the cover here. I just want to make this quick video on this is a 58 Thunderbird, as you can see here. But I'm working on the steering, and the reason I'm making this video is a lot of people were asking a question. I didn't see anybody really answer it. Mainly because of all the terminology used for this relay rod, so people misunderstood it as just maybe a Pitman arm or drag link, and all sorts of different terms are used, but this is actually called the relay rod, and it's got the threads. Ford used this all the way up through the Mustangs, I believe. And but anyway, real quick, I just wanted to mention these bushings, when they go bad, for some people they might be easy to take out. But this is probably the one I took out of here. It had probably been on here for 30 to 50 years. And then on the other side, same deal. Some people are saying you could just get a hand tool at rent at the auto parts store, a bushing tool, and press this out. But this one was just too far gone and rusted in place and everything. So I ended up taking it all off and taking it home, putting it in the press with some heat and pressing it out the opposite direction just a little bit to get it going, and then back out to the front. So I'll show you more about that. And also to get the tie rods off, I did rent a tool to do that, because the common old-fashioned methods of just hitting it out with a hammer did not work, and I didn't want to use a pickle fork and damage the rubber or parts or any of that stuff. At the same time, pardon my mess here, but I'm replacing the power ram. There's the old one. I get the core charge back, and this is a rebuilt power ram right here that I'm putting on right now. So it's a good time to take care of those things. The other one was leaking really bad. So let me go underneath and show you what I did on that idle arm. Okay, so I just loosely bolted that back up. There's the idler arm. And let's see if I can get this to where you can see. Yeah, so that I had to take home to get that out. That was a lot easier just because the surface is easier to work with on there. So yeah, the small hand tools that you can rent, I could not press that out. It's just impossible. And laying underneath the car doesn't help either. But the other side of this, of course, the actuator valve right here. I hope you can see that. The most important thing about this is when you put it together, of course, you don't want to forget the roll pin that holds everything in place. But there is a specified measurement. It's like, I'll have to double check it, but it's like 10.5 inches that you measure from the center point of the steering arm to the center point where the power ram connects to. So we'll finish this. I'll come back and show you that. Another thing I want to point out, being a 58, I thought this was interesting. You can see that the 58 does not have, although this has 2 holes, I don't know if they were drilled, but from the factory the 58 did not have the shocks here, because there was supposed to be an air shock arrangement that never happened. So you can see right there, the shocks are on the outside of the lower control arm, or it's that one right there. That's the anti-roll bar right there. It's the same thing on the other side. It looks like someone drilled holes and missed on this one at one point. But yeah, the shock absorber, which I need to replace. And let's see what else. Also, these brake lines need to be redone. Always check that. Whoever restored this car did them from the rear back. Everything's fresh back there. But yeah, these brake lines have seen better days, and it's always safe if you have to question it, get them out of there. So anyway, it's a very nice underbody considering the age, especially as you get towards the rear back there. The drive shaft and a lot of NOS parts, I believe, back on that end. Alright, 2 days later I got the steering parts done here on my 58 Thunderbird, and it all went together quite well. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Can't wait to get the fluid in there and take a drive. I'm just waiting for the snow to melt outside, which should be fine Saturday here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But anyway, here's the, let's see, make sure you can see this. But I got a new steering ram on here, a rebuilt one from Larry's Thunderbird. And I also replaced all the bushings and everything. I got some new hardware on there, cotter pins and everything. But the main issue of this video, I want to point out 3 things. Number one, yeah, you pretty much have to take that bracket off, and this relay rod. You got to pretty much remove that. So there's a roll pin up in here you got to pull out of this clamp. And then I made a mistake on the other video. When you put this thing back in, you need to you adjust it so that it's 10 7/8 inches from the left rod to spindle hole, which is the driver's side, this one right here. So yeah, it's from the center line of the steering arm to the center line of the rod to spindle. It's exactly 10 7/8 inch. And if you turn it one way or the other, it's almost off by a 1/4 inch. So it's pretty easy to do. The other thing that I did here, well, one thing I want to mention is the book says to torque these down 50 to 60 foot-pounds and then put the cotter pin in there. The interesting thing about that, it's going to, when I start it up and test it, of course, I'll know for sure. But it pretty much pins. There's an inner sleeve in here, so there's a lot of pressure on that inner sleeve for it to slide back and forth. I guess the torque and everything from this power rod, it shouldn't be any problem. It'll dig its groove in, but you can see here on the old unit, that lip there is where the serrated area on that inner sleeve is butted up against. So 55 to 60 foot-pounds is a lot of pressure on there, but I guess it'll dig its way out. And yeah, new bushings here, of course, and on the inside here. Another thing I want to point out is I ended up getting these Dorman rubber sleeves. Mine were shot, water could get up in the grease and everything. So I bought these aftermarket ones, and I sliced them up to fit, and they have a perfect seal, and I had to cut them to work around the arms, but it worked out pretty well. You do want that stuff to be sealed up properly. And last, I put these hoses back on. It looks like I'm probably going to have to replace that one, or these two. They're probably old and dry and brittle. But anyway, yeah, this 58 Thunderbird's got a few things I still need to work on. I found some bushings here that need to be replaced on the lower control arm, and of course these brake lines. And you know what? I wanted to show this on the video. Isn't this something here? See the exhaust, that choke unit there? Well, first of all, look how close that brake line goes next to the exhaust. So when I put the new one, it's actually got a shield over it. Is that factory? It's got a second layer over it, but it's awfully close to that exhaust by a 1/4 inch. So, and so you can see where the shield, let's see if I get the light up here. You can see where the shield stops before it goes in that clamp. I don't know if you can buy the brake line like that. It would be nice to have a dual master cylinder for these cars. I don't need power brakes, just a dual. There you can see where it starts. It's kind of dirty, but right there, there's a cover over the brake line for that portion as well. But first things first, let's get this alignment done. There's the other brake lines. Look at that. See, the rear ones were replaced. The front one looks horrible. And then you can see the line, the fuel line there. So anyway, get that steering done, and we'll do another video driving the car. I got to adjust the column too to get the horn to work. There's a gap between the horn button and the column, and I couldn't get it to pull up, so I'm going to take the steering wheel off and pull the neutral safety switch off. There's got to be some type of pin in there keeping it from moving. But anyway, that just wraps that up. We'll do some more videos here on this 58 Thunderbird, and thanks again. If you like this video, whoa, that light. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. We'll be doing a lot more stuff on this and other cars. So thanks again, and we'll talk to you later.